Yeah.
For a woman to move up, she needs a man at the top.
I have a very hot date. You're going to
أفريقيا فيها الحلم ديالي والعالم يسمع علينا احنا جينا أفريقيا لا تستنى تسالم أفريقيا فيها الحلم ديالي ومرحبا بكم هنا هاد الكاس غادي يحلى يا محلاها جاية بيديك في ايديا أفريقيا
You need
no one. So that you're able to hear and see the panelists well.
I'm going to tell you a story that I know.
This
And maybe after that, you'll be in position to tell me your name.
Of product development, we are privileged.
My name is Dora Nantongo.
Dora Nantongo.
Mr.
Rainbow is
Daniel
much better.
Mubezi, the CEO
Rain
of Kainala Farm.
could even be much better.
Take your seat at the front.
As long as you are living in my house, you will stop harboring these thoughts
with a hand clap.
What is it?
You must come.
And then also I'm going to
You want
invite
to see.
our very own
Yo. Jamani kako.
Mr. Beno Mugumya.
DJ sema kwa muziki nawe.
Dora, you're beautiful. Live a normal life.
Sometimes I just want to sing the whole day.
Get your head out of the clouds.
Dr. Jim Mayode Chide, the founder, Tourism Development Research Center. You're most welcome.
Rain.
I'll also be inviting
Your voice
ladies
sounds
now.
like
Ladies,
raindrops of gold from the sky, you know?
Gloria, I don't belong here in Kauko and I never will.
She's a wonderful girl. Maybe she's crazy sometimes, but her heart is in the right place.
Laura Kagame,
I hear it's so easy to become famous in Kampala. You know how much money I can make?
Laura,
We are a
most
Christian
welcome.
family here, and we start
Yes,
every new step
and
with
you
a
have the
prayer.
ladies in the middle.
I have a whole room to myself. I have new clothes.
And then last,
Dora.
not least,
You have never changed it.
our very
My
own
bar has one
Ambassador
rule
Rosa
and one rule
Malango,
only.
the
Do not let me
special
find
presidential
you
envoy
sleeping
for
with my
tourism
customers.
aspect. Ambassador, you're most
Come on,
welcome.
babes. Tonight,
Please, can we
we're
give
reaching
them
for the
some vibe as they
stars.
come
Talk is
to
cheap,
take
pops. You know what I
their
want.
seats?
So make it happen.
You are most welcome, panelists. As I have introduced them,
No, I'll go get her
I know
myself
they're
right
going
now.
to justify
No, let me go get her.
detail, but as they take the first question, I'll be asking the Kainela MD to start with to just tell us, because this panel is about product development. Our theme is on innovative tourism product development, and we want to create.
Do I smell jealous?
memorable and
It is equals no
marketable
friends in this
digital
lecture. Let me tell you the
experiences.
truth.
Everything that we do that is tourism.
I'm the
So
master
as
here.
Kainela Farm,
I
what
need
does
to be
tourism
sure
product development
you
mean
taste as
in
good as you
today's
sound.
tourism economy? What does it mean to you? You can tell us where your farm is, and then also ask us.
Thank you, Moderator.
First of all, my name is Dorcas Gomwe. I happen to be the moderator this afternoon. I am privileged, and I work with Uganda Wildlife Authority as the Commissioner for Tourism and Business Development. That means that I head the tourism department of Uganda Wildlife Authority. You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. My name is Daniel Movezi, but maybe to correct, I'm not the CEO of the Kainela Farms, but I really happen to sit in the shoes of to stand in the shoes of the CEO. Myself, I'm the operations manager at Kainela Farms. About the question you asked me, how I understand
product development.
Product development
In today's tourism economy.
Exactly. First of all, product development is really making your resources around you marketable for tourism. That's the whole idea about product development in tourism. What can you make, what is around you that you can make marketable for both domestic but also international visitors? What can they appreciate around you, the resources around you? How can you turn them to be appreciated and marketable to satisfy a visitor, a domestic visitor and also the international visitor? Of course, we cannot forego the fact that today's tourism market has changed a bit. We have moved from simply sightseeing, but visitors are more interested in hands-on experiences. And there are a lot of things we can do around us, and we can give experience to our visitors. Talking on behalf of Kainela Farms, I think we have turned, by the way, we are the leading organization as far as agrotourism is concerned. Maybe talk about Kainela Farms who don't know about us. We are a leading agrotourism destination in Uganda, located in Kayunga district. We are sitting on 203 acres of land, farmland. We've been farming for close to 13 years, but we have only opened the farm to visitors for the last 4 years. So the whole combination of farm and tourism makes or gives birth to the idea of agrotourism. And what, like she was asking about product development, we have developed a product around the farm, around the rural area, and it is now being marketable to both the domestic and international visitors. For your information, for the last 3 years, we have recorded an average visitation of 1,500 people per year. We are almost competing some national parks. Yes, I can tell you this, because when you Google, they will tell you one of the national parks is bringing in 5,000 visitors. So I think in the next 5 years or so, we can even do better than some of those national parks. Yet we have only transformed the resources around us to make a very magnificent tourism product. And to me, I think we have a lot of potential to make the resources we have around us. Uganda is not majorly about wildlife. And when you travel a lot in the tourism expos and other platforms, when you mention wildlife and Uganda, people do not think we have enough, because we are competing with big players in the game. But we have a lot we can use to attract market. We have the culture. Uganda in the world, if you didn't know, let me tell you this. In the world, Uganda has the happiest people. If you didn't know, but you take that. And that is a very big tourism potential and very marketable. So wherever you are and you're marketing Uganda, please do market the people of Uganda. Do not only market the big five and what, but also the people are a very big product. It's only in Uganda where you ask for directions and someone just says, oh no, actually let me take you there. You're just simply asking, where should I find this? The person will just walk you there. So that means that the resource of the people is a very potential tourist attraction, and we should be selling it. So as far as the question is, I wouldn't want to take a lot of time. I want to applaud all the people that we can use the simple resources you see around us to make a tourism product. If someone came to the farm today, because it's a working farm, if we found us harvesting, If you found us planting coffee, it's a very big experience. And international visitors are planting coffee. And when they go back, they actually keep calling, how far is the coffee? How far is the millet? How far is the maize we planted together?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Very much. Thank you for that. Mr. Ben. People call you Ben. Ben, you have been in events for quite some time, and you have been in tourism. You have seen the effort we are putting in. You have attended so many expos. But there's this one thing, that Uganda is being said that we are such a beautiful country, but then we are not there. We are not getting as many visitors as we are getting. So the question, Uganda has immense tourism potential, as you may rightly know. But what are we not doing well? What aren't we packaging well enough to market this country to achieve its full potential?
Thank you. To my dear panelists, fellow panelists, you're most welcome. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm glad to be here. I think everyone asks themselves that question every day, especially we, the Ugandans, we that experience this beauty every day. You know, if you happen to travel to all the corners of this country, it's beautiful and it's different. All the corners are different. But to answer your question in very few words, I think there's lack of intentionality, and a lot of it is not just us, the stakeholders in the different departments, entertainment or hotel people, but the people in the big positions that make these big decisions. If we are intentional enough to sell this country, we need to stop preaching and do the small things that will really shift the needle, especially the infrastructure. If we want to bring in people and make this the destination, one of the biggest destinations in Africa, we have to make it easy for the people that want to come here. And when they come here, is it easy for them to get around? Will they be safe? You know, and it's really the small things, and I think they are really, really fixable. So it's, to answer your question is just one word, it's just the lack of intentionality. The beauty is here. We have everything, the weather, the people, you know. He just mentioned we have like the happiest people. We have that spirit, that good spirit. But that's not enough. You know, that won't make somebody book the plane ticket to come here if we don't even have enough flights to get here. You get what I mean? If the experience on the road is not that great enough, you know, they'll go elsewhere where they're intentional with the good roads and, you know. So yeah, unfortunately, it's those small little things because we have the hotels, we have the accommodation, the food, but it's just lack of intentionality, and unfortunately. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Laura, I know you have been intentional. You have been intentional in this game of tourism, and you have really tried your best. What are those little things that he was talking about that we can do to change the game of tourism in Uganda? Because we think we have done our best. We are trying to fix the roads. We have Uganda Airlines. But he's saying we are not intentional. I know you have traveled everywhere. You have seen how people are doing it. What can we do to achieve our full potential as a country in tourism?
Thank you, Dorcas. And thank you very much for this opportunity to be on this panel. And I'm especially excited that it is product development in tourism. I am very passionate about that, always forging and creating and, you know, doing all sorts of things. That's why you said I've been very intentional. So I can't even start with saying, I think we haven't been intentional because, you know, in our own private way, we've tried, right? But I will start with an introduction. My name is Laura Kagame. I am a two-faceted tourism entrepreneur. I'm both on the travel side and the hotel side. So on the travel side, I lead the team at one of the leading, should I say the leading holidays company in Uganda, in East Africa, which is called Travoneza. And then a very exciting, the most experiential, the most progressive lodge, the second lodge within the park in Queen Elizabeth, which is in Kasese. It's called Acacia Wilderness Lodge. And alongside it, its sisters, two hotels in Mbara, Acacia as well. So that's the hotels and the travel side. So that is me. Now, back to the question, what could we do? You know, I was having a conversation with Benon earlier, and it was that we just need to be more creative and have, you know, there's something I call delulu. I use it a lot. And by delulu, I mean the confidence to sell with your whole heart what you believe is the most beautiful thing. You know, I have traveled far and wide, and I've been to, for example, in Malaysia, I went to the Genting Highlands, where I went on a cable car, and they're showing you all this, and the whole time I'm up there thinking, looking down, thinking, Kisora is more beautiful than this. If we could just have this. Or, you know, so many places that I travel to, and they take you, you drive for 1.5 hours, you get there, and this is it. You know, you look at like Sipi Falls. If Sipi Falls was planted in South Africa, my Lord, what they wouldn't have there. So it's just more product development around these areas. And I know, Dorcas, I know that we're working on a lot of these things. Cable cars in different places, developing the different islands, more water sports on our different lakes. Imagine we have over 160 water bodies in our very small country, you know? And yet, if I even asked you guys to name maybe just 3 types of boats that you know, or lakes that have boat rides, I don't think you'd go past, you know, 3 examples. So there's so much that we're yet to do, both by the private sector, by government. But for me, that's what's most exciting, because it just shows that there's so much opportunity. There's so much that we have to do, but I also love what is happening now with the new, with the UTB and UA. There's so many exciting developments. This is the most exciting time to be in tourism because of all the opportunities available. Now, as Travoneza, we continue to do our part to highlight a couple of these places and to just, you know, do our part to showcase the most unique parts of Uganda.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. But my audience, can you at least be clapping for the panelists? At least clap, give them some vibe. Dr. Jim. Dr. Jim, you have been in tourism, you have a research center, you have done so much research. And if they opened your head, tourism would just come out. But how can tourism products create jobs and community benefits while remaining sustainable? We have seen some products that have been created, and then 2 years later, they're off the market. Either they are dead or I don't know. But how? From the research that you have done over the years in tourism, how can these products create jobs that will benefit communities, but also remain sustainable? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and the panelists and the audience.
As mentioned, I'm Jim Ayorichire, now focusing more on research. I'm a professor at Makerere University, and that's where some of the problems begin. You say we have done a lot of research, and I think that's where I find the challenge. Over my career, it's good, you were talking about product development. There are two questions that still remain unanswered, as you have said. We have all these resources, then why haven't we converted them to benefit from them? That is one. The second one, which links to the question you asked, if all these resources have been around, the gorillas, the elephants, and the rest, how come the people are still remaining poor? To me, those are the two fundamental questions that still we need to address. So, I'll set back a bit on products. One, my interest is very much, where do products come from? Somebody has talked about creativity, being intentional, and the rest. And to me, all this comes from the knowledge. We must have that intentionality to create products using our own knowledge. In my readings, now I'm very keen, we have all been talking about sovereignty bill, sovereignty bill. But has anybody thought about knowledge sovereignty? The knowledge we are running, where did we get it from? Are we using other people's knowledge? Do we need to sit and now look at our own, what we have, just as Kainera was saying, look at what you have and build on that. And that, to me, will be able to build jobs for tourism. Why have the jobs in tourism been few? We still have a very narrow product range. We all think to develop tourism, you must have the big five. Once you don't have the big five, then you are off tourism. So we need to look at the products that we are building. We need to look at how do we even sell the products that we have better. Because I think part of the challenge from my side, from the research point of view, is that we have continuously sold products traditionally the way we were selling them and the way they were handed over to us from the colonial period. And to me, that's where the whole problem begins from. You just want to say, this is a lion, this is a gorilla, and that's it. And to me, that won't enlist somebody to come back. It won't be able to sell the product. As part of the research, I'm increasingly interested in what is the link between wildlife viewing, and wellness. We well know that now there's a lot of issues with the mental health and the rest. When we are selling this mountain gorilla, are we selling it as therapy? Now there's a term called nature therapy. So when we are having these game rides, are we just moving from point A to B? Or are we intentionally selling something more than that? To me, if we do that, if we sit in a corner and introspect and see how the products we are selling, one, how do we improve them? But two, how do you bring more products on board? It's good now he's talking about agritourism. I don't know how many people they employ, he will tell us. And we have been training, we have young people, and all of them may think, I only become a guide, but there is more that can do that than becoming a guide. We need to look at more innovative products. As part of the research center, we are running a study, and a report is coming up on nightlife, for example. Is Kampala's nightlife a tourism product? So can we package and sell it as a product and can employ people? How many people are employed in the night economy? And that's where the jobs are. You have a maximum that you can employ in UA. You have a maximum range as you can employ. So if we look outside the box, so to say, and this box has been that we all think tourism products are wildlife. So once we get out of those boxes and talk about agro-tourism, talk about culinary tourism, talk about all these other products. So to me, the jobs can be created, but they cannot be created using the same system we are still running, the traditional system. We need to look out more in the events. You're talking about events tourism. We are talking about the mice. We are talking about cultural tourism. Everybody is talking about cultural tourism. I still have my own challenges of how we promote cultural tourism. We just look at a small section. We all think cultural tourism is inviting dancers here and they dance. And to me, that is not, you will not be able to create the products and bring more people. So you can only create jobs by attracting more people. And you can only attract more people by being unique. I was just looking at the statistics. The whole of Africa, 2025, received around 81 million tourists. The whole of Africa. Over 50% of them went to 3 countries: Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, and South Africa comes in. Which South Africa is the next one. So it means if you remove all those, we all remain with around 25-30% to fight for, other 49 countries. So there is a fundamental problem bigger than Uganda alone. We need to look at how do we get people to come into the country. So to create more jobs, you must make sure that you're able to attract more people to come into the country. And for people to come into a country, we have to think more innovatively about new products, about new experiences, and about how to sustain those people to actually also come back. It's not only about coming once, but also marketing us and coming later. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jim. Ambassador. Ambassador Rosa has traveled far and wide. You have been everywhere. You have represented the president's interests in many countries. And you're in tourism. You're the presidential special advisor on tourism. Now the question that is lingering here that we want you to help us answer is what makes tourism products competitive in the region and international markets? Which products can we position that are competitive? Maybe when you were in South Africa, you saw what was competitive. Is it wildlife? Is it culture? What can we position on the region or international that will be more competitive? Since you have been in all these markets, you have seen. Please tell us. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. And I also want to appreciate being here on this panel. My name is Ambassador Rosa Malango. For 28 years, I worked with the United Nations. And 3 years ago, His Excellency the President hired me out of the UN to come and work in Uganda. So I'm a proudly freshly minted Ugandan now. And I'm really, really excited about seeing how to bring that international experience to my new job. Now, when I look at tourism and trade, and I really took the position tourism and trade because I think they're linked, there are a couple of things that I considered a priority. Number one is mindset. We look down on ourselves. We look down on our heritage, we look down on our products, and because of that, we're shy about telling the story. So one of the first things that I've been trying to do is to identify those people with products, with inputs, and help them to develop them to meet international standards. Now, I had to start by leading by example. So I used my UN pension to create the TAC Hub. And what I do, the TAC Hub, I work with women-led SMEs and young people, and we create and brand products and fashion made in Uganda. So every time you see me, I'm wearing something made in Uganda. So I have to lead by example. So we're demonstrating that we can wear casual, we can have uniforms, we can do sports, you can do state house made in Uganda. The more the women work with me, the better they get at it. So already just by showing up, I'm doing fashion. So people see me and they want to know where is that from, and I say Uganda, and they go, they were not aware Uganda had fashion. This is a product already. Now imagine how many of you know people working in fashion. But we need to get together, we need to get better at it, we need to organize ourselves better so that fashion, Ugandan fashion, can be a product. Now, another way of looking at it, I always encourage people to try to put yourself in the shoes of the person who is visiting. So for me, it's easier because I used to be here as UN. And I remember I would go somewhere and I would go, this place is beautiful, what can I take home with me? And there was nothing. So recently I went to Gulu for the Northern Uganda Film Producers Award, and I insisted that I wanted to do a heritage tour before the awards. Everybody was shocked. So no. If you're going to invite people to you, you must make sure they see what's around you first. And by doing that, you're creating business and you're creating jobs. So the film producers, I've encouraged them to work very closely with the travel specialists and the tour operators. So if you're having a film event, the tour operator should be there, the travel specialist should be there, and you should have different type of packages for different visitors. Is somebody coming for half a day? Give them a half a day package. If somebody's going to stay longer, give them a full day package. And agree in advance what you want that person to see. Now, for me personally, I wanted immersion. I had heard about actually experience. I wanted to have it. Guess what? And here I have to say, women do organize themselves better, sorry, because I asked 3 different people, and there was a lady called Gloria from the Remy Tours. She came up with a 4-hour package. She took me to the Gate of No Return, which I didn't even know existed. So, ladies and gentlemen, I found someone there from Ugandan museums. The guy is by himself. He doesn't even have a souvenir store. He doesn't have anything. So that is a historical location. How many products can you do from those rocks? And you stand there and you look and they tell you, if you keep going straight, it's Sudan and Ethiopia. Oh my God. So that is another product. I go there, I should be able to come back with something. Even the walking sticks that they give you to walk around, give us some that I can take back home from my experience. From there, I went to the LRA, and the LRA Memorial for me was very, very emotional because as having worked in the UN, having worked with victims, seeing the memorial was really something else. And there's an old man trying to do his best to keep those things together. So again, if we're looking at it as a job, that space needs support so that the community can help the old man to keep the memorial alive. And we should be able to sell samples and booklets and brochures that you can take from the memorial. So I was at the LRA Memorial, what do I have? I have nothing. The third part of our tour, which was really well done, was my naming experience. So they told us, you're going to take you to a village, you're going to have to come in dancing, and oh my God, God bless their Chole dance. I could not keep up. It was an experience, and I went with my son. So they explained the steps to us. So we went through the steps, and then you have to talk, and then they give you the name, and my name was given was Achiro, and my son got his name, and then I asked them, I said, can I have a certificate for my name? And God bless them, in 24 hours, they sent me a certificate.
Wow.
With the name Achiro and explaining the whole process. So well done at Destination Acholi.
Can we give a clap to the Acholis?
So you see how I'm telling you that's an example of a product. I immediately sent it to my friends in the US, and in Spain, they're like, oh my God, we have to come and book it. Because the experience, you come into the village, you tell them who you are, you participate in the dance, they explain to you the dance. They have about 35 huts. Out of the 35 huts, 3 are reserved for guests. So if you actually have time, you can actually stay and do the whole experience with them. When you leave, what do you take with you? So I was telling them, you should have calabashes for sale and drums for sale. Everything that you experience, you should be able to take a version with you back home. So now, that was an immersion experience. So when I came out now to the event to talk about film, my appeal was, ladies and gentlemen, can we make a movie about the Gate of No Return? Because if you make a movie about the Gate of No Return, people will come to see where the movie was done and why. And now, if I'm coming to see about the movie, I need to get water, I can get an Acholi dictionary. You see all the products, the merchandising comes in. So use the film, tell your story, create the experience, and give them the memories. We need to look at product development as a business. So I'm going to conclude by just making reference to, I hope you guys love the space you're in today. Do you guys love this space? Okay, this is another product. So I have been working for the past year with the Producers Guild of Uganda. And the whole idea was, how can we elevate the filmmakers so that the government sees them as an industry? So we advocated and fought to have this room called what? The Film Experience.
Wow.
And that's why we have the different guilds here. How do we do costumes? How do we do props? the Screen Guilds are here. We're showing the short movies made in Uganda in between. And guess what? Most of the government people came. They told me they had no idea. So we pulled this off. So imagine how much more we can do if we work together.
Thank you.
My dream as I end in terms of product development, I know I'm being ambitious, but I think we can do it.
Yeah.
My dream is to convince the government to set up a film business park with an ecosystem at one location. So far, it looks like we might be able to find some land in Jinja. And so the idea would be let the government buy the equipment because it's really, really expensive. We already have the talent. And then you have an ecosystem within which everybody can stay, you rent a space, and we can host our counterparts from other countries in a dignified space. Thank you.
Can we clap bigger? Can we clap better for Ambassador Rosa? Thank you very much for that. Back to you, Mr. Mubezi. You said you ran a farm, Kainela Farm. You were talking about harvesting coffee, and people in this room, majority of them grew up doing some of those things, but you're promoting it as a product. How can you make me, a domestic tourist, appreciate what you're doing, especially make me be interested in even paying for it, and yet I grew up doing this activity? I grew up picking coffee, I grew up doing all these things, and it was as if suffering. You know, Ugandans, we say, oh, I don't want. There are some people I met, and I was telling them to go gorilla trekking. They said, what? I pay money to go and suffer? So how will you convince a domestic tourist to pay for a farming activity that they grew up doing? Because we want these products to be all-inclusive, to have the international market and also the domestic market. Kindly just tell the people how you can do this pricing to make it especially competitive and yet not chasing away the domestic market. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let us take note that growing up, agriculture was a punishment. If you misbehave, you have to dig some kind of land. Eh? So it's in our mindset as nationals here, we did not think agriculture has anything good. In any other sense, you would want that when you grow up, you go to another place where there is no farming, where you're not going to do farming. But also, let's note that trends have changed and generations have kept changing. We actually have currently people who think fruits come from the fridge. Yeah, who think matoke comes from the market. So there is that generation that still wants to appreciate the source of their food. But maybe I want you to let us try to understand that tourism, agriculture can become a tourist attraction. And in what sense can that be? First of all, I know you don't want to clap, but I want you to clap for agriculture. Yes, I'm a farmer by passion. The relationship I have with Jesus Christ, apart from being the Father in heaven, is that both of us were born in a kraal. So me and farming, we are together. Yes. Yes. So me and farming, we've been together. But, you know, farming as a sector is the mother of this nation. I don't think we would be where we are if we did not have farming on our side. And agriculture has done a lot and has supported this nation a lot. But being a mother, like I said, agriculture is a mother. The mother has potential to multitask. You can also clap for the mothers. They have potential of multitasking. So of recent, and not only in Uganda, by the way, but worldwide, farming has become a potential tourist attraction. When you go to Google and you look for the best destinations in the world, they will tell you about a place called Taipei, I think is in Taiwan. And the major products they have there is not the wildlife, but the community and farm product. It means agrotourism has potential actually to be the leading product for the nation. And therefore farms have potential of making business in tourism. But not only the structure of a farm, I want you to think, not think out of the box, but let's think, they say let us think that the box is not there. I want you to look at the farm out of what you expect, out of just tilling the land, producing some food. Actually, referring to what we do as Kainela farms, we have a number of other sectors of tourism. For example, we can do mice at the farm, mice tourism. We hold retreats, we hold team building, we hold a lot of things at the farm. That means it has other aspects of tourism. Now the visitors are more interested about community tourism and sustainability. And when you have a farm, you have potential of bringing out this. You can do community visits. 99% of our food comes from the farm and from the community. So a visitor who wants to come and experience something great from community is able to come to the farm. You can do sports tourism. We have a whole sports hub. You can do basketball. We have teams training there. Basketball, volleyball, soccer, and a lot of things. Clubs, national clubs, training from the farm. It is not only farming and tilling of the land. There are very many other aspects of tourism you can involve at the farm. Thank you so much.
But how do you price this activity of agriculture to make it competitive? Okay, the pricing, of course, also the price depends on the service provided, the pricing of the product. You must have packages favorable for an international visitor, but also have packages favorable for a domestic visitor. For example, if you had a domestic visitor who wouldn't want to spend the night at the farm, because one night goes for 630 Ugandan shillings, but maybe would think this is a very big price for a domestic visitor, which I don't think, and we have a lot of domestic visitors paying this money. But we have one-day visits, which is way cheaper, but you're also able to experience the farm. So you just give favorable packages for a domestic visitor to enjoy the place as much as a foreign visitor can enjoy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Can we have a hand clap for Daniel Swangs, Mr. Swangs. Ben in most cases is called Mr. Swangs. And growing up, swang means you have swagger, or, it is all something to do with entertainment. And now, events have become such a big deal. I saw the other day when Arsenal was playing, and then they were the champions. It became a whole thing. And now people are advertising, let's go to Gaba to celebrate the championship. So events have become a big thing. Now everyone is organizing an event. Even campaigning is an event. So every day it is an event, and it's becoming a tourism activity. How can Uganda better package entertainment and events as a tourism product that will put us at that place that you are saying we are not being intentional? How can we now package events, entertainment, to be a tourism product that will attract so many people? I know there's nyege nyege, there's all these things. How can we package ourselves as an entertainment destination, as an events destination, and then compete globally? Thank you. And I'm assuming by asking us, it's us, the events organizers, or as a country? As a country. As a country. But led by the event organizers. Okay. Yeah, first of all, Swangs comes from Muswangali, where we started from. It has nothing to do with swangs, with swag. Yeah. Our very first studio was right on Salama Road, a place called Muswangadi.
but because, you know, you didn't want to tell people, hey, Jangwa, ono Muswangali zone, what's that? So we're like, you know, we're at Swangs Avenue. Come, Swangs Avenue. So even when we moved to our...
so you see, you put some swagger in Swangs Avenue.
Hey, so when we moved to Muyenga and legitimized the business, somehow the name stuck. You know, it moved from just being Mswangari to, yeah. So back to your question. I think we as events organizers, we need to collaborate more with different stakeholders, especially in the tourism industry. Say, for example, we can organize something, an entertainment event at the farm, whereby we are not just offering music and people singing and dancing, but I believe someone would want to book a ticket to come to Uganda, not just to watch somebody singing, but if there's that add-on, I'll be able to eat a fresh pineapple. You know, Uganda, they say we have the sweetest pineapple in the world, and that's no lie. I used to hear people say, we have the sweetest pineapple. Man, when you travel and they give you a pineapple, those guys are eating chigaji, and they call it a pineapple. It's true story, by the way. So imagine packaging an event whereby, you'll be entertained, but at the same time, you'll get to watch the process of harvesting coffee. Because people nowadays, as we grow old, you don't just want the night event, watch the musician, great production, and that's it. What can they do during the day? They can go to the farm and try to milk a cow. You know, some people have never experienced, like you said, they will think milk comes from the supermarket or the fridge. There are certain things that are now big, like wine tasting in Cape Town. People go for wine tasting. You know, that's something that can make somebody travel to just experience that. So it's these experiences. Can we collaborate with airlines? So if I have, say, Nyege, I think 2 years ago we were traveling for the Cannes Lions. It's an event for creatives, and I happened to be one of the speakers. That was 2024, and I used Brussels Airlines. And around that same time, I don't know if you guys have heard of Tomorrowland. This is one of the biggest events in what's that, Belgium? Yes. And all the planes were branded Tomorrowland. So our connecting flight to France, in the plane, the vibe was different. You know, it was even how they were serving us. Because Tomorrowland is, you know, it's party, it's vibe. So I was all the time thinking about Nyege Nyege. I'm like, hey man, imagine if it's Nyege Nyege season and Uganda Airlines has branded all their planes. I know we have like 4, 5, yeah, but you know, we can, yes. And it had, have you been to the Tomorrowland? And there's a way you feel like, next year let me plan and be here. Imagine the people, the traffic that they get going in all these different cities, they get to know about. So we need those collaborations, and not just amongst us in the private sectors, but we need that support from the government. We need to lobby. I don't want to sound like that whining guy, but let me tell you something. We've tried to do 3 events in Jinja, because, like I said, we don't want to only just put up a stage, great production, sound, and book musicians. But we want to have that add-on. Oh, our event is at the source of the Nile. Imagine, this beautiful place, you've done your setup, and the backdrop is Jinja. But the Jinja Municipal Council frustrated us. And that's one of the reasons why Nyege Nyege moved from Jinja. Yeah, you might not know. Actually, let me use this opportunity in case there's somebody out there that can, let me bring this to your attention. It's very frustrating. And the margins we make off these events are really, really small. And it's devastating when you try to bring an event to a big city like Jinja, where you know that, okay, the hotels in Jinja are going to benefit. That guy that makes chapati is going to get crazy traffic. Basically, but the people that make these calls, they don't appreciate what's coming to them. They, all they want is, tukoze tutya. It's unfortunate. So yeah, we really have a lot of work to do amongst us, the private sector, but also, the people that make the shots. We need to find a way of making it easy for us, the events organizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have a hand clap for Ben Swangs? Thank you very much. And I want to let you know that there are so many people from Jinja in this room. I am sure they are going to escalate this, including him. And please tell Chabazinga that we are getting really frustrated. We want to develop Jinja, but the frustration from those people who say, Ida tukobe. It is also not encouraging us to do events and entertainment. Laura, you have been a service provider, like you rightly said, for travel and for accommodation. Today's traveler values convenience. They want to find you a one-stop center. How can you be, what does it take to become that one-stop center that will provide convenience to a tourist and give them value for their money? Thank you.
Convenience is no longer a desire. Convenience is now the baseline. It's no longer a luxury. Every tourist expects convenience now. From the time they are picked up, they expect a seamless experience. From the time they say, dear Travoneza, greetings, we would like to go to Maxon Falls for 2 nights. Just from that one, those 2 lines, they expect a completely seamless experience. From the not even the driver, from the time, from the way you send them, their quotation, it should flow into how they make their payment, the visa payments, everything should be seamless. In this day and age, if there's a break anywhere, you've lost that customer. Completely. If you even take a day, even just an hour, to maybe share with them how they can make their payment and everything, you've lost them. So what we've been doing and what has to happen in this day and age is just from that, dear Travoneza, we would like to go to Maxon Falls. It should just be a response that says, dear Arthur, thank you very much for reaching out to us. These are the options that we would recommend in Maxon Falls. This is how you get there. This is that. Since I can see that you're booking for a couple, these are the best couple options. Should you decide on these, we take visa payments. Their only response should be, in how long can I make the payment? How long can I reserve this? Like, you have answered all the questions. You've told them exactly, the locations, everything, all the information for them to make a decision. And then now past that stage, that's the pre-booking. Now, even from the time they arrive, you know, from the way they are picked up to, you know, the driver, where they go, it should be completely seamless. There shouldn't be anywhere. That's on the travel side. Now, you can imagine, now, for example, on the accommodation part, when you talk about convenience, in terms of bookings these days, nobody wants to take even just 1, 2, 3 steps to book their trips, rather to book their accommodation. It should be, you know, because that's where booking.com is you know, now the most preferred, because it's very seamless in that way. But if you look, a lot of hotels now have very seamless booking, you know, booking systems all the way to the very end. And even before you know, when that part of the payment, they've asked you, you know, would you like, you know, transport? And with transport, would you like it? You know, some of them even ask, would you prefer a female to a male? You know, it's completely thought through all the way. And even the time when they reach the lodge, by the time you book a client as a hotel, you've already, at some point, because of payments, either asked for their documentation and things like that. So there's a pre-book, and you know these places, I don't know, the last time, like, for example, now, when I go to a hotel and I'm given a whole form to fill, you knew I was coming. At some point, you've seen my ID, you know my names. You're asking me my telephone number, how have you been communicating with me? You know, all of these things. So these days, pre-check-in is expected. First of all, by the time a guest comes to you, they've left their home, you know? So they're already out of their usual routine. So they expect that kind of convenience. That's why I go back to saying, it's no longer a luxury. It is the baseline. It is completely expected. And so the way you design all your itineraries, everything has to be completely seamless. As in no break. These days, one break like that. As in, I'll even just, you know, get off. Maybe you'll have lost me somewhere. Then next thing I've seen an advert for something else. You lose a client literally within 5 seconds. Yeah. So it's mandatory. It's not a luxury. It is compulsory.
Those who haven't visited Acacia Lodge in Queen Elizabeth, please come, because you know that you're not going to be given that form, long form to fill. You'll just be pre-booked and pre-checked in, and you'll just come and just sleep. So I am looking forward to my next visit, and I'll give you feedback on how it has been convenient. But for the young tour operators, I think that was very key, that a tourist now, if you really want to tap into tourism now, one of the things you must do is you must provide convenience to a traveler. People don't want to suffer because they are coming to Uganda. And like the president said yesterday, we sleep a lot, so let's respond to people's queries as soon as possible and give them the right information. Dr. Jean, I know you have traveled in all these landscapes in Uganda. Western Uganda, where you come from, is uniquely endowed with beautiful landscapes. For example, if you take an example of the Western Uganda Rift Valley, it is unique, and yet it does not compete globally. It would be making for us a lot of money, more than wildlife. How can we move away from wildlife and start selling the landscapes that are uniquely ours, like the ones in Western Uganda? The Western Rift Valley should be selling much more than Queen Elizabeth National Park, than wildlife. How can we position these landscapes globally to get value, much value than we are getting right now? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll talk about the landscapes and generally on tourism product diversification. How can we be able to move a step further to interest more clients to come and experience a number of resources that we have? You talk about the landscapes. A number of my colleagues, we have worked with the Uganda Petroleum Authority. Somebody will be wondering, Petroleum Authority, because they were very much interested in how does the petroleum mining and the exploration link to tourism. So we had a discussion and we ended up actually identifying that one of the products that we can sell is what is called geotourism. You are selling your geographical, and that's where the landscapes fall into the tourism. But that one means that you would have eventually to invest in research, and I think this is the point I'm making, even to all my colleagues and the tourism sector, that if we invest in research to understand deeper, then we shall be able to develop more products. Because, for example, Ambassador was talking about her experience in Gulu, but it's not captured in any research. It has not been captured to help and improve the product. So you cannot improve your product and develop new ones unless you invest more in them and unless you train more in them. We have been in training. Like in geotourism, it means if you are to develop geotourism, and geotourism takes up the oil mining, like now people apply to go and visit the oil fields and the rest. So, but it also takes in the hot springs, you are taking in the Rift Valley formations and the rest. But that one means now we have to invest and even have geotourist guides. You know, one of the things we think is that a guide can always do anything. But now we have realized that we need specialization of guides. That if you have a farm, then you need somebody who is specialized in farm guiding. If you have somebody with birds, then you're somebody who is specialized in birding. So it would mean that those landscapes, one, you need to document them very well and therefore be able to position them as products. But two, you would need to train people. I would be very glad to find people who are geotourist guides. They would give you all the experience and the rest. And geotourism is actually very wide because it also involves the culture. So there's what is called the geocultural. So it means when you see a hot spring or when you see a Rift Valley, it's not about the Rift Valley alone, but it has a lot of cultural attachments. You can be able to explain how the people relate with it and how the people are able to understand the landscape around them. So research would help us sort out a number of issues. He was talking about the challenges they are going through, and which is not peculiar to him, with the event management and the rest. At TRDC, we worked with Amos Wekesa on the Rwenzori Marathon to explain what is the impact of the marathon, what the impact of the marathon on the Kasese economy. Because if policymakers don't understand the impact that they get, they will think you are the one making the profit. Actually, as you've mentioned, the ginger may be benefiting more than you, the individual. And when the hotels fill up, then the council gets more money. When this chapati seller makes more money, then... So, and because you have not had any deliberate research to inform this person, he remains in that sort of darkness. So to me, research can play a very big role to open up eyes. It can play a very big role to open up doors. It can play a big role to transform the tourism that we have, other than thinking that, yes, and I think the last Nyege Nyege, I was part of the team that worked with the Minister of Tourism. They did an economic impact of Nyege Nyege. How much money did Nyege Nyege bring in? You remember when Nyege Nyege was beginning in the parliament, it was a very hot issue, and everybody was saying, what's the impact? And nobody had any figure on the impact that you have. So the more we measure our impact, I was in the session of sustainability, and one of the challenges we even face in sustainability is because we don't measure our own impact that we do. That when you bring and people travel around, then what impact are they having on the environment, on the social aspects, on the climate change and the rest. So to me, getting new products on board does not just come out of the blue. You have to invest in research, invest in trials, product trials. And one of the major challenges of product development is that it's costly. You have to, because even research alone is costly to invest in the research. So we must see how even the private sector is willing to allocate resources to research, but also how government is also willing to allocate in resources to actually even develop more new products coming on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jim. A big hand clap for the researcher. I know Ugandans, especially young people, they don't like research, and yet we can't do without it. So if you fear to do some research after this panel, please engage Dr. Jim so that he makes your fears a bit relieved. Ambassador Rosa, you have been on the UN. You have been everywhere in the world. How can Uganda leverage tourism to attract foreign investments and international partnerships so that we can also become like those countries Dr. Jim talked about, that the 3 that were best visited in Africa? We need maybe investments, we need partnerships, but how can we use tourism to attract these investments or investors and partnerships to support us? Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's actually work that I'm speaking after the researcher because I kept nodding. One of the main things that I've been talking about is the fact that we have a gap in knowledge products. We live in a world of the knowledge economies. If we do not generate our knowledge, we cannot innovate and we cannot be sustainable. You can't use somebody else's knowledge framework and think that's going to work for you. We have to be completely and absolutely clear about that. Now, what are some of the examples of things that have an impact in terms of tourism that create investment? I'm going to give an example. One of the critical areas that Uganda is promoting is commercial agriculture, correct? So we have a lot of investors who come and who want to see a farm. They want to see our factories. They want to see an industrial park. Now, one of the assignments that was given to me earlier this year was to organize a bunch of investors that was coming from the UK going to Kapeka Industrial Park, which has been in existence for a long time. Guess what? There was no handbook. There was no investment profile. I had to get it done. So with my team, we got it done in a week. So when the investors came, they already had a profile that explained the national vision, gave information about the district, gave the information about the factories, and talked about the surrounding communities. That way, when they engage with us, they engage already with a baseline, which they have something to take back home. So now I have an agreement with Uganda Investment Authority. I'm going to sit down with them and do an investment profile for each of our industrial parks, because they don't exist. So that's number one. So whenever we engage, people come, they should be able to see what is being produced in which industrial park. Phase 2 from that is going to be mapping out which factories are surrounding each of the industrial parks. Because now you get into the value chains and the outgrowers. So it's Canela Farms next to one of our industrial parks. Is the warfare next to an industrial park. So now you're going to capture the ecosystem around the industrial park. So that's going to be phase 2. And then phase 3 is Uganda has signed on to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, all these trade agreements. But if I go and speak to the woman who's doing shea butter in Lira, she has no clue. She doesn't know what applies to her. She doesn't know what is her incentive. She doesn't know what she's supposed to say to the person who's coming all the way from Central African Republic to buy her stuff. So again, my office has created the first handbook on African Continental Free Trade for SMEs. We need to educate our people. I'm trying to work with National Planning Authority so we can translate into local languages and make sure that people can understand. Without the knowledge, you cannot engage. So that's number one. Number 2 is collaboration. Yesterday, I was sitting in the airlines panel, and we were discussing about how can we collaborate with other airlines first in the region. So personally, I was saying, I agree, we should have each of our destinations on the tail of each of our planes, and then we change it every 3 months. So today it says Mount Rwenzori and Mount Elgon and Source of the Nile, and when it lands somewhere, people see it because they see the flag. Each of our planes should have a different destination every 4 months. And we have people like Emirates, Qatar Airways, Kenya Airways, who are willing to carry our message, but we don't have the knowledge products. So again, if we leverage those partnerships, just in Africa alone, Kenya Airways flies everywhere, Emirates flies everywhere. How can we place the Ugandan products there? Because when you see the product, you come for tourism, you may want to invest. 2 last points before I close. I believe that how we sell is how we link tourism to investment. Personally, when I tell people to come, I tell people to come and make Uganda your holiday home. If it's your home, you're going to invest in it. So while they're coming, they can contribute to the road. They can contribute to the health center. They can contribute to the school. We need to package bankable projects that make sense. So if I'm going to drive from Kampala to Kasese, and I stop in Kabalega along the way, is there a social project I can contribute to just for stopping by? And you help do the health center, and you can track that when you go by. So we have to be very deliberate about the bankable projects. And I know that I'm supposed to sit down with UWA soon to make sure we can scale up those bankable projects and link them to the events that we are talking about. Last but not least, I had a meeting with the National Tourism Event Organizers Federation. They brought to me this issue about Nyege Nyege and about the other events. So 3 things that I asked them to do. I said, number 1, as a community, write. What's your mission? Who are your members? What are your corporate events? What is the tier of your events? Tier 1, 2, and 3. What is the impact on the economy? What are the challenges that you face? And what kind of solutions do you want from government? So I'm very happy to say that they sent that to me last week, but I was focused on Poate. So now the next step is how do we package this and we send it to government. So if they need tax relief, let's say so. If we need to look for a special security force so that they're not paying crazy money for security, let's say so. But we need to put it in a language that policymakers can understand. And I think that the policymakers in Jinja did not understand it. Despite the fabulous study that I saw on the economic impact, they did the study, they took it to Parliament, and somebody kept it in the shelf. That study should have been promoted on radio and TV for months so that everybody would have awareness of the revenue impact and what it did in terms of creating jobs, the hotels, the food, the shopping. Is an impressive document. But we did it, and we kept it. So definitely, I think the last thing that I would like to say is I believe part of the reason that I exist is because I can bridge between the 2 worlds. So I look forward to working with the Events Organizers Federation, continue to work with the filmmakers, and I think the other community I'm working with are the content creators and sports. Let us organize what we're doing in a way that the policymakers can get it. National Planning Authority has agreed to give me a desk within their office to help incorporate any policy issues into the National Development Plan reports going forward. So I've offered myself as a volunteer for free to do that for the creative community starting next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Rosa. Thank you very much. My final question to the man who was born in the crowd. This gentleman was born in the crowd, and I know there are so many young people who are looking at you thinking Kainela has been successful, and they want to be Kainela. How can a young person who wants to start agribusiness tomorrow, they want to venture into this, and then they become as celebrated as Kainela is now? How can they begin? How much do they want? What do they need? Who can hold their hand? How can they be like you? They were not born in Accra, but they want to venture into it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think my first point is to encourage all the youth, but even others who are not the youth, to venture into agrotourism. Of course, as any startup, you take baby steps. Kainela did not start as Kainela, did not start to have a platform at Munyonyo. Imagine from a farm, you come to Munyonyo and tell people that you're actually doing sensible business in agrotourism. There are actually very big steps, very small steps taken to build the product we are showcasing today. But what I can advise those, especially the youth, those who want to start something similar to Kainela Farms, is first of all to be intentional and not rush the process. Looking at where we started, up to where we are right now, most of it, we've been reading the visitor's mind. What does the visitor want? We do not have all this mega plan of where we are. We started, by the way, on 5 acres. I'm talking about 203 acres and going forward.
These people don't have 5 acres. They have very small.
Exactly.
What can they do?
Exactly. We were talking about product development, and the major thing in product development is using resources you have. There are even farms on 1 acre doing very well. There is a lady called Dr. Nalima who is doing a 1 acre model. But there are even those who are doing less than 1 acre. There is a farm on Entebbe Road. It's, I think, on but less than an acre, something smaller than an acre. So the resource you have, as long as you're intentional, please don't rush the process. Be intentional on the project you're running. But also, one major important thing is to have a niche. Do not do whatever anyone is doing around you. You have uniqueness, is to find your uniqueness. What is my uniqueness in the product? That's when you're going to have market. Because if you're selling what I'm selling, then we are competing for market. If you're selling what the neighbor is selling, then you're fighting for market. But have a niche and strategize on how to sell it. Be unique in what you do and strategize on how to sell it. But also, please be in the space of tourism. This space has built us a lot. If you come in this space, you're having knowledge sharing, you're looking at what the neighbor is doing. Probably you're not going to do what exactly this person is doing, but you know the nitty-gritties of doing business, especially if you want to do something in tourism. You must be related to UWA somehow. Kainela Farms is a partner of UWA. UWA is dealing in wildlife, but as a farm, we're partners. Kainela is very well related to UTB, to auto tour operators, everyone in the tourism cycle. Please make sure you're part and parcel of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. People will come to you after this session and you'll give them more tips on how to be a Kainela, and yet you don't have even land, but you can rent. So please come to Daniel for some tips. And then Ben, Mr. Swangs. Everyone wants to be like you. You have built a brand. You are Swangs. Everywhere you pass, they see your brand. And people know you have organized events and you have made money, they think. But people want to organize such events that you do, and you're the expert. How can one organize an event that will become very attractive and people will come for it, and so that someone can make some little money? What are those attributes that make an event very attractive, so that these people don't mess it up? They make an event as attractive as possible to get people come for it. Thank you.
I think one of the things, especially when we creating, say, a new event, or when we were, one of our biggest calendar event is Roast and Rhyme that happens 3 times a year. You kind of like have to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who is going to attend this event. And we are very big on experience, because that's bigger than even the lineup, who is going to perform. But when these people go back to their homes, how are they going to feel? What's the experience? What's that thing that they are going to talk about that, you know, that they won't get anywhere else? So for anyone out there that's planning to, you know, to do an event that will attract people, and the greatest thing is, how are you going to make the people feel? What's the takeout? What's the experience? Is it something that will always want them to come together? And I think as Ugandans, we are big. There's an energy that we have whenever we get together, even if it's strangers, but we're in the same room and having a good time and experiencing some, in the gospel circles it's called, when we're in one accord. There's there's that vibe and energy that we feel. I'm sure most of you who have gone to Nyege Nyege, it's really not because of the lineup. Half the time we don't know who's performing, but you know that you're going to have a good time because you are going to meet other people, like-minded people like you that are free and just want to have a good time, that are happy and in the energy. So it's really all about the experience. Don't let no one lie to you that it's the type of lighting that you're going to use, the sound, it's all about the experience. How am I going to feel? How, I attended, there's a festival me and my friends went to in Dubai called The Untold. We didn't know anyone on the lineup, but these guys are very big on how you will feel, the experience right from the gate. They make sure that the guy who is checking your ticket is smiling, is even dancing, almost like these guys are trained to be ministers of happiness and enjoyment, so that by the time you're walking in, you also get into that vibe, and it's infectious. Yeah, that should be the #1 priority. How are you going to make the people feel?
Thank you very much. Can we have a hand clap for Mr. Swangs? Laura, if you had 1 minute to convince an international traveler, an international visitor to come to Uganda, I know you have done this, but if you had 1 minute and you met Obama, we've been trying to get him around, we have failed to get him. But then you're walking on Washington streets, and here is Obama, Hussein Obama, and you have to convince him to come to Uganda. What unique experience you do sell to him, and why?
Wow. Yo, Dorcas, you don't like me. Or you believe in me too much. One of the two. But I wouldn't sell Uganda to them. I wouldn't sell. I would describe a feeling. And I would, the way I would say it, I'm going to hope that many
He's
of
giving you only 1 minute.
Okay.
The president has said 1 minute.
Yes.
Tell me anything you want to tell me.
Okay. Now, in Uganda, it's really, we've got really unique experiences. I will draw from my own personal ones. There's that moment when you are engulfed in the Markston Falls area, and it's splashing on you, and it is thundering, and it is, if someone called you in that second and asked you what you were thinking, you wouldn't even have the words to describe it. It is just the feeling. But I also want to talk about one more thing, and for me, that's my best experience. When you are cruising down, I'll use the word cruising to make it sound fancier, sailing down the Kazinga Channel, and you reach that fishing village. There's that special fishing village where I don't think even a poet has the words to describe. There's fishermen fishing, with their nets, and they're very rustic-looking boats. And then there's hippos, there's a crocodile chilling there, there's elephants, there's buffaloes, and there's villages just behind them. All of them coexisting in perfect harmony. That moment there always leaves me extremely speechless. For me, Uganda has so many moments that turn you into a storyteller or just leave you completely speechless. Somewhere in there. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura.
Thanks for allowing me to forge.
We'll send you to one of those, and we'll make sure you bring those people that we've been dying to have here. The young people want to see Ronaldo on Ugandan soil. I want to see Obama. That's my... You see the age bracket? So we will send you. We'll send you will pass a basket and UTB will give you a ticket, and then the rest of the people will give you some money for accommodation, but we'll make sure you bring those people around. Doctor, Mount Elgon has enormous tourism potential. You talked about geotourism. What experiences remain undeveloped there? How come we have the least numbers of visitors in Mount Elgon, and yet it has enormous tourism potential? Kindly tell us, what can we do to untap those experiences, to bring them out, or to develop them? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. You make it sound like an interview of UA. I'm looking for a job in UA, but, but it's, thank you for that. Before I go to that, I just wanted to make a comment. I know maybe I'm breaking protocol. I just wanted to talk what about Laura has said and what he said. And I think that's product development. We have been stuck that product development are gorillas, is an elephant, is a waterfall. And actually, tourism is not about that, but the experience, what you feel, and I liked her answer. If you allowed me to mark her, I would give her a first class in there. That what you feel is what you sell. But we are stuck in thinking that the physical lion you see is what you're selling, but actually not realizing the feeling. So anyway, that's, I think, perfect and perfect for the students who are here of tourism. I always say I'm a student of tourism because from morning to evening I keep learning about tourism and I learn every day. So it is quite engaging. Talking about the Elgon area, it comes back the same thing we have talked about, the product development of how can you develop a product. We had a project there, a research project, and we were looking at the CP area, but also looking at the Elgon region. And we are now looking more, we have been talking about ecotourism. Everybody talks about ecotourism. But now we are continuously studying a concept called ecoculture tourism. You are looking at the ecology from the cultural perspective. So Eastern Uganda would be very much promoted from the ecoculture perspective. You are promoting the ecology of the area, but also from the cultural region. We know the great cultural richness they have, whether it's in the Imbalu ceremony and the rest, whether it's on the conservation, whether it's on those unique or the minorities that are there, the Beneta and the rest. But the challenge is that we always want to compare Elgon with maybe Bwindi, and which you cannot do. Bwindi has a different setup, and now the Elgon, if you try to use the Bwindi approach to develop the Elgon, then you end up hitting the same obstacles. So look at the uniqueness, look at the culture. We worked with the Kapchorwa district, the tourism officer is in another, and we were talking about sports tourism. How do you promote Kapchorwa as a sports tourism destination that everybody comes to look for Kapchorwa, Cheptegei? It's interesting, under that project, we later on realized that there were a number of people who were coming to Kapchorwa, including scouts, international athletic scouts, and they were asking one question: what food do they eat? I hadn't thought about that, but they say everybody who comes around is asking them, what food do these sportsmen eat? Because they believe it is the food maybe that is making them unique. But from the tourism angle, I saw a very missed opportunity to develop a food and say this is Cheptegei food. Just position and say, and we can sit and agree with Cheptegei and say, what's your food? He says, this is my food. You just sit and package it and say, you can't go to Kapchorwa without eating the Cheptegei food. And you market it. Yes, you're practicing for a marathon, come and eat this food. This is what you must eat. Or if you want to be as strong and as have the vitality of Cheptegei, this is what you eat. And to me, that's the innovativeness we're talking about through tourism. That you sit and look up And the good thing with the innovation, the idea is given to you. It just pops up, like somebody is looking for the food, and you say, now this is the food that we can be able to package. And we now even use the science and the rest. No, because people now are health conscious, you must know. Like in Mbari, there's talk about malewa. But you ask people, what is is it gluten-free? Yeah, gluten-free? How many carbohydrates do I eat if I eat 100 grams of malewa? All that information is not there. Yet, as a cautious traveler, I would like to know the fat content, the gluten. And to me, that would be the angle that would take and actually try to come up with new experiences that people would actually come up and say, I was in Uganda and I ate the cheptegei food. Thank you.
Thank you very much. UTB, over to you. We want cheptegei food next year. The next Powate, we want to see a stall selling cheptegei food, and we want even to have it on the menu. That's a very good one, and that is really product development, because that's a big, big product that can transform Kapchora, that can transform even Uganda, because cheptegei is a big brand. How would we leverage on his brand? Now, Dr. Rosa, Ambassador Rosa, see, I'm calling you doctor because you're seated next to Dr. Jim. Yes, Ambassador Rosa, you have been in Uganda, and everyone now knows you were in Acholi. But if you get out of this country and you're walking on the streets of New York and someone asks you, Ambassador Rosa, you have been missing in action. Where have you been? And you want to tell them that you have been in Uganda, but you don't want to say Uganda. How would you describe Uganda to someone who has never been here and make them feel what they have missed because they have not been to Uganda? In 1 minute, the person is passing by. They are saying, I haven't seen you in a long time. You want to tell them you have been here, but you don't want to say the word Uganda. You want to describe it in a certain way to make them feel what they have missed about this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm just laughing because I actually have to do that like every other night, because people call me to say, are you okay? How is it going? So
this is going to be a nice one.
It is. It's a very nice one. So I've leveraged on my experience. So having been raised in the U.S. and lived in New York with the horrible weather, I think about all the things I used to suffer about. So I tell people that, by the way, do you know I live at the source of the Nile? And like, what? It's not Egypt? No, it's not. It's where I am. Do you know that I live in a place where there's organic food everywhere? I just realized I ate plastic for decades, and now here I have fresh food. Do you know I live in a place where wellness is every day? So wellness is every day. For those people who are surprised, I don't look the same way I looked when I worked in the UN. You can see the level of stress. This is a healthy version of me, and it's because I live in Uganda. You know, I live in a place where respect and dignity greets you every morning. You know, so everywhere we go, you feel safe, you get respected, you feel dignity. And I just realized I live in a place that's the cradle of civilization. Do you know that my house is 10 minutes away from a 1,000-year-old kingdom that it still exists? So that is where I live.
Thank you. Thank you. Another big, massive hand clap for Ambassador Rosa, because she actually has described Uganda. That is my country. That is what I call home. That is our country. That's the pearl of Africa. I want to ask you, the audience, to give a big, thunderous hand clap to the panelists as we stand up. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank Kainela. I want to thank Swangs Avenue. I want to thank Travoneza. I want to thank Dr. Jim. And I want to thank you, Ambassador Rosa. Thank you very much for giving us your time. I remain your moderator. I've been your moderator, Dorcas Rukundo Twesigomwe from Uganda Wildlife Authority. People are saying they have questions, but UTB is telling me time out. What do we do? Can we take 2 questions, UTB? Can we take 2 questions, at least?
They're waiting for me to close another session. Somebody at the door there. They've been waiting for 20 minutes.
So can we Can we ask the questions as people get out? Because can we let her go? If you had any question to Ambassador Rosa, please ask her. She will be around. But for the rest, can you give us 5 minutes to take at least 2 questions? Sophie, is that okay? Okay. Let's take our seats. And then I'm going to ask, I have only 5 minutes. So I'm going to ask the first 2 questions. The first 2. And one is from Owedinda. Owedinda is on the other side, towards the door. Tell us your name. Give us the question. I see so many hands up, and I don't know what to do. But I'm giving each one of you 1 minute to ask the question. Just tell us one of your names, and then ask the question. After you, I'll have one of the ladies. I think this one. And then we'll have a gentleman and another gentleman there.
Thank you very much. I'm called Ali Mutakaviansi. I'm a filmmaker and the president of Film Club Uganda. But mine is actually an observation. I have observed that what we've been talking about is international tourism. We have said so little to encourage the domestic tourism, yet I think we have such a big population that we can tap from. I don't know why we are not encouraging locals to visit these places, because recently I was in Chivale National Park with some friends of ours, and it's so expensive going for that trek. How can we make it affordable for the locals to have these experiences that are ours? Okay. Then another thing is, I think it's important that government encourages festivals to appear in every city, because that alone is a way of promoting domestic tourism. I'm for domestic tourism, not for the international tourists. Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Time is up. I'll answer the question of why we are making it expensive for domestic tourists, especially because you talked about Kibale National Park, and that's the chimpanzees employ me. We have been promoting Open Park Days, where we invite all Ugandans to enter the national parks for free. And let me tell you, Ugandans, when you tell them, come and enter for free, they'll ask, what am I going to eat? Are you providing food? Are you giving me transport? So it becomes a little difficult, because you're talking about entrance, which I control. There's someone else here who is providing accommodation, and they want to buy for you food. That forest is not in the city. It is a bit hard to reach. Some of these places are hard to reach. Bringing food, Laura will testify that getting food from Kasese to Queen Elizabeth to the lodge is really a bit expensive. But Ugandans, naturally, I'm going to use Ben's words, that we need to be intentional so that we are able to travel. I know Laura has been organizing domestic travels, organizing groups. Come and we go to the parks. Come. I don't know how she has been successful. And then after that, you'll give the microphone to Ben to talk about the events, the question of events. Thank you.
Let me answer the domestic tourism part. I am on the same page as you. I advocate for domestic tourism first before international. And I do both. In fact, I have a saying that if you come asking me for a Dubai quotation, first tell me which 3 destinations in Uganda you've been to. But maybe you'll correct me. It's 200K? 200,000. Now, I don't think that it is a price problem. I think it's a value issue. It's that we have not shown that experience properly. A lot of it has not been documented properly for the domestic. I'll give you an example. Do you call it trekking? He hiked Mount Elgon recently. And I watched it. I watched his whole experience, through his documentary. Anyway, it made me want to go. It's people who want to go chim trekking, 200,000 is not a lot. It's not a lot. That is $60. The average Ugandan pays that for a lot of things that have less value. But we have a visibility content creation issue, and those are the things we've been talking about. So, for example, he was telling me he wants to go hiking Mount Renzori next, and I said, you definitely have to involve UTB. Please take us along, because there's very little footage, video content on Mount Renzori, very little, and that tourism needs desire. So it's not a price issue. We just have not evoked enough desire in the Ugandan to want to go see those chimpanzees. That's what it is. But for domestic tourism, for example, at Travel Neza, I have a Uganda calendar marked as in January to December. People pay in monthly installments for as low as 100K. We have moved Ugandans throughout Uganda for a long time. My lodge has Ugandan rates in UGX way less than the ones for foreigners. And I think we do 50-50. And we treat the Ugandan like you're at home at the lodge. So, yes.
Thank you, Laura. Ben?
Yes, I agree with you, Ali. I share the same sentiments. I think it's our responsibility, everyone here, if you've been to a game park, try and sell it to your workmates at work, at home, or if you can afford to take somebody, take them with you, let them experience it. It's life-changing. If you go up the mountain, you don't come back the same. Your business, will get a different lens in terms of resilience. But I think, yes, UTB, you have a lot of work to do, and not to only target foreign tourists. I believe the local numbers as well can really, those numbers can do something in bringing in the money. The other, the festival really, we don't have the power to do that. I think we need collaborative. Yeah, it's really. But again, for me, my takeout on this panel, the doctor mentioned, we have work to do as well, making those cases through research so that the government can get to appreciate that, okay, events can bring in these numbers. Events can impact this amount of figures in just one weekend. The hotels can be booked out, and we can get this kind of spike in terms of local small businesses in a town when an event happens. So that is on us as well, as events organizers. We need to build stronger cases because, government has a lot of issues to deal with, so the numbers have to make sense for them to give us the support. So yeah, we'll hopefully take that challenge on and make sure we take these things across the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know who is moving the microphone. 1 minute.
Good afternoon. My name is Denise Noahereza, a third-year student at Makerere doing software engineering. And I have 2 questions. The first one is, Mr. Ben and Dr. Jim talked about how we are still in the traditional way of marketing the tourism. Is there a way we could tap into the current trends of marketing so that we could show Uganda? Because there are countries that you see on TikTok, on internet, and you're like, I would like to visit this country, but because you're seeing how it has been marketed. So I was wondering, is it possible as tourism people to do that so that we give a new face to Uganda that would make people desire to come to it, or that would make Ugandans themselves want to travel their country? And then my other...
That's over to you,
question,
Dr. Jim.
My other question is, Pardon me. Dr. Jim talked about the diversity of the tourism and how all the times when we think about tourism, we think about chimpanzees and what. Is there a way we could make tourism, and how you had explained, you telling Obama, is there a way how we could make tourism be sold as a feeling, making it, should I say, portable in a way that we are selling the culture? Because I feel like the people of the Karamoja region and the people of the northern side have been sold because of their culture. Is there a way we could make it for all the cultures in Uganda so that we are diverse, instead of us only doing chimpanzees and tourism, we could do something that involves the whole community? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Jim will answer you. Let's take another question. There was two gentlemen here.
Thank you so much. My name is Juventin Ochor. I work as the Assistant Tourism and Recreations Officer for Mugainga Gorilla National Park. My first question is more close to what my sister has already asked. Basing on the vast knowledge and understanding of the local tourism of Uganda and international tourism of our dear panelists, what are those few practices that are missing in Uganda that we can borrow from the outside world to help us position Uganda as a premium destination in Africa? My second question is about AFCON.
That's for Laura. Laura will take that question.
My second question is about AFCON 2027, which is just around the corner.
That's for Benz.
Co-hosted by Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. How best can Ugandan tourism sector benefit from the AFCON visitors who are coming? AFCON is going to attract thousands of visitors. How best can we make sure that all these people have a taste, have a feel of Uganda's tourism products? I thank you.
Thank you very much. Ben will answer that. The last question.
Thank you. Semju Isma, aka Soundman Omumpi. I'm a filmmaker and work with Mulika Studios, but I'm mainly here on behalf of the Sound Engineers Guild. Mine is mainly to Doctor, and is how can we go about mindset change in the community? One, back then before lockdown, we had few domestic tourism. But after Tulambule campaign in 2019, I'm happy that I was part of the first two campaigns as a sound recordist. It changed the mindset. Nyege nyege is always seen in a different angle. Or other events and tourism. Parents don't encourage people. We want to change the industry. But parents are not even encouraging people to study such jobs, to be tour guides, to be in the other related things. How can we go about changing the mindset of the nationals? Because if we want to get there, everyone is attached, because the tourist is not going to associate with just the tour guides, but the entire community. My second is on, we are targeting the international tourism, but where are we as Uganda at these different international stages? Do we have representatives at different events? Let's say festivals. I enjoy watching different music festivals and theatrical festivals. I see the Kenyan flag being waved up in so many different events. It's just one time that I saw a Ugandan flag being raised at a festival in Germany. Where are we? Are we able to be part of these film festivals, these events, and sell the nation? Can we change the image and not just support? Like the international image really matters. Do we care when they say Ebola has broken out? Like the president was protecting us, because those numbers affect when the international community, BBC and those other media houses are just showcasing how poor Uganda is, how chaotic it is. Do we mind about the image that the international community knows about us. Because the foreigners that come here sometimes and do content, what are they selling? The kids in the ghettos, the poor communities. Do we mind about controlling that? What image is being portrayed at international communities? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know who to pass on this one to. I think, Dr. Jim, you have done enough research, and Ben also knows about events. Where can we position our flag on these international events? But Dr. Jim, you'll also talk through about these filmmakers who come and film the ghettos. When they are talking about the culture, they are talking about jiggers. They show some jiggers to the international community. How does this resonate with who we are? And yet, we are really trying to position our country as these people. We are selling people as a product. And yet, someone is selling us as if we are so backward. I think those are the only questions we are able to take this afternoon. I'm going to ask the panelists, starting with Dr. Ben, rather Dr. Jim, to take us through those questions, and then coming this way.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, moderator, for allowing a few questions, because it would have been unfair for maybe people for us to get this feedback. So in the interest of time, I'll be brief. Denise has talked about how do we leverage on technology to promote tourism. And actually, to me, it's good you're asking these questions as a young person, because now this is your ball. If you're talking about social media and the rest, you guys are the ones. I even fail to get time to read my WhatsApps alone. So I wonder if I read TikTok, I go on Instagram, I wouldn't. So it means you, the young people, and I'm very glad that you stayed together. I see a number of other students who study tourism. It's you to come together. Come together as young people and see how do you create meaningful content. I think for me, we have had even challenges of the level of content. What do we put out? What do we think can actually be able to sell the country? So, and this may not just come, we need training. Maybe tomorrow there will be an award for the sustainability, for the awards for the tourism sector. And I happen to be part among the people on the jury. And we have already made some recommendations that we need training, because people, for example, there's a category of influencer. An influencer. Now young people like content creation, influencer. But sometimes you look at somebody's content and don't think this is actually sending out the right message. So I think also training yourself, interesting yourself, and gaining more skills on how do you present the country. What content do you put out? They were talking about feelings. How do you create a content that portrays feelings? Not only just a picture of a mountain gorilla looking at you. Then how do you create that feeling that if somebody looks at this video, he will actually feel they want to be part of that experience. So it is a skill. It is, you can engage more. But to me, the young people, this is your area. You are the ones who are going to take tourism to the next level using social media and the rest. Then I think this links up to, I didn't get the name, but Mulika Studio, he talked about mindset change. To me, mindset change is a big buzzword. I'm not very keen on buzzwords. People are now talking about mindset change and the rest. If you ask them, how do we do it? Then that's the challenge. To me, to change somebody's mindset, make them benefit. That's the beginning point. It doesn't make sense for you to come and tell me, change your mind, change your mind. I will automatically change my mind if I begin benefiting. If I see the benefits of conserving this forest, if I see the benefit of promoting this destination. So to me, mindset change shouldn't just be a theoretical rhetoric thing. It should be embedded that the people can be able to actually realize what they are getting out, to be able to realize the positive aspects. And people will automatically, people are adaptive. They will automatically change their mindset, actually, without you having to tell them that you change your mindset. And of course, on the image, you're saying, how can we improve on portraying the image? And I'm very glad Ambassador has left, but the guild, the film guild, the event organizers, you have a very big role to play in portraying Uganda. All these other countries, the US has more problems than us, actually. How many murders takes place on the US street? Every day, nearly, I was looking at statistics, every month, nearly 200 people die out of gun violence. But nobody talks about that. But when one person dies, then in Uganda, so it means the role the press is able to play, the role, the positive attitude, the positive images we're able to post will actually eventually drown these others. There is no country, there is no city that does not have any social problems, any crime problems, any disease outbreak. Everybody now is talking about Ebola and the rest. But it's how we handle it. And to me, the film industry, the creatives industry is a very big thing that can lead in product development. Because when you're shooting a film about Uganda, you're actually, you're an ambassador, you're selling Uganda. And that's why you see, when you talk about America, everybody, the first impression you get is from the movie you watched. And what do they show you? The sleek cars, the good streets, and but you go there, you'll be surprised that California, Hollywood has the highest number of street people, homeless people. But you don't see that in their movies. So I think there's something we can do together, get to understand and work closely with the UTB, how we can be able to sell that aspect. You talked about flying the Ugandan flag. I'll leave that to Ben. I think you can explain better on the Ugandan flag and how we can promote the national pride and the rest. Thank you.
Laura, you had a question?
Mine was from the gentleman who works in Muhavura? Mugahinga. Yes. And I think it was also very similar to the ladies over there. How can we promote these unique experiences, these unique activities? Is that what it was? How can we bring those out? I think even to what you said, these feelings that I talked about, how do we bring this out? I think the answer is literally in this room. It's film. It is through that, through the government or UTB, all of them have to heavily invest in film and content creation. That is it. Those are the people that evoke those feelings. I described how I watched him come down that mountain, and I was also losing breath as he was coming down. I don't know how to explain it. It's like when you're watching a movie, you know, and honestly, I had never seen Mount Elgon footage like that. Had you watched anyone come down the mountain before you went? No. So it can only be through film production and content creation. That's the only thing, because the second thing also is the government to invest in, indeed, product development and training of the different activities across the country. Like when you go to Source of the Nile, you know, our country, you go to so many places and you even look for where to take a picture and where to sit. I will attest, Murchison Falls, during COVID, the time when the Zambia days, I carried the first chairs, tables, and set up the first event there. You actually attended an event there, right? The guards were looking at me like, what are you doing? Guess what? Now it's the norm. It's now done a lot. So we had to actually convince them to clear up the space, put proper benches, and they did, and now they've been charged to enter. They never used to charge that time. So I'm just saying there's a lot to do in product development, training, you know, by the authorities, but mostly it's in content creation. I think that's that from me.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, just to add on to that, you've hit the nail on the head. I have a crazy business partner, and the beginning of this year when we were doing our strategy for the company, he was like, you know what? We need to adapt the Slay Queen playbook. And everyone in the room was like, Slay Queen playbook? But guess what? I'm sure we're all familiar with, some of us even follow some slay queens on social media. Don't worry, doctor, I'll explain. Slay queens always post. They are always looking, like her hair is, when they're having lunch, when they, and this goes to all of us. If you have a business in tourism, you manage a hotel, don't feel scared that, oh, you're overposting. Show us every day. Show us the sunrise. Yo, the kasana today is looking sleek. Don't fear, don't overcomplicate Luzungu. That's how they sell us, this dream, this place. Banange, let me go and check out this place. Going for an afternoon swim. We need to stop selling ourselves short and take away that fear of thinking maybe I'm doing too much. This doesn't look too corporate. The world has moved on now. We are no longer handing out brochures. So it's us. We have that responsibility to sell sell our country, sell our business. The gentleman was talking about waving the flag. Yes, I've seen actually a lot of those, say, reggae shows in Germany, and you're seeing Kenya. That starts with us. Those are individuals. I don't think they are paid by the government, So, man, we have to be proud of our country. I made a cautious decision from, I think, 2016. When I started getting some money, I was like, oh, every December, I have to go somewhere. Go to the US, go to Dubai. Imagine me and a couple of friends went on an excursion in Haiti, $50, and those guys were showing us how to make chipoli. And I'm like, what? So I was like, you know what? I need now to start exploring my country and try to document it Bulungi. That's why I went up the mountain. I am putting some money aside because the ultimate dream is to go up Mount Renzori. And actually, the lady who asked about how can we sell that feeling, I've invested a lot of money in Dolby Atmos. It's a kind of sound system that is immersive. And in our world, there are some kind of microphone, the ambisonic mics, I'm sure you know them, that I put them in a room. And so imagine I take that microphone in up Renzori and I play for you how it sounds, that immersive sound, and take some good visuals. So, yeah, the government is not going to pay me for that. Maybe they can.
Who will give you complimentary.
Oh.
To enter the Renzoris, yes.
Oh, okay. Maybe let me.
That will not give you food.
It's okay. I'll take care of the food. But it has to start with us. All the time as Ugandans, we are so used to complaining. Banang. But man, this country is beautiful. This country, you'll be amazed. The weather. I have a friend of mine, she was planning to do a barbecue, but then I'm praying maybe this weekend we might get some kasan, and then I barbecue some chicken. So there's a lot that we take for granted because we're always experiencing it. And that is what we need to sell out there. For the gentleman who was talking about AFCON, I think the best way to do it, because we're going to have an influx of people, and we need to find a way of packaging, having incentives for the ticket holders. Hey, you're coming for the AFCON, you know what? You can get 80% accommodation and game drive to, whatever. Yeah? You can visit Mugahinga and you get this percentage off. But guess what? You might even charge them 100%, but you tell them this is 70% or 50%. We love to hear, I'm getting a good deal. Even if it's not the truth, you find a way. But I think the best way, make, all-in-one packages. And, you know, people will experience Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause to the team, to the panelists. And with that, I want to thank you very much for being the best audience today. Thank you very much. You can clap for yourselves. And thanks to UTB for sponsoring this time and being here in this room. I know we have learned one or two things today, this afternoon. But if you have any burning questions, as we step out, reach out to any of these panelists. They'll be happy to answer the questions. UTB has organized some packages for the panelists, but I want to ask the panelists to stand here and we take a group photo. And as we receive our bags, do you want us to take the photo with our bags? Thank you, Sophie. This is Sophie Balijuka. She's the senior officer at UTB. She's in charge of product development and investment. Can you clap for Sophie at least? Thank you, Sophie. So we're going to take a photo.
Thank you so much, Dorcas. Thank you so much, our panelists. One more round of applause for our panel. That was quite rich, engaging, and thank you for sharing your time with us. And this marks the end of Kowate 2026 seminars. We are happy you joined in. We had a total of 8, which have all happened. This room will still stay open for film. I think even tomorrow. Feel free to come in and audition. Feel free to come and have an interaction with the Producers Guild, the Writers Guild. There are quite a number who are in here to see how you could take your content creation a step further in writing, in storytelling, in filmmaking, and all that.
This is the most and the best blessing I ever get from the spiritual of the Nile. And thank you, Uganda.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Welcome to the Pearl of Africa, where adventure meets opportunity. This is Uganda, a destination whose natural wonders, cultural richness, and growing modern infrastructure serve as a bedrock for extraordinary economic opportunities. With a proud history of hosting global meetings, incentives, conferences, and events, Uganda offers everything you need for a successful gathering. Explore vast conference centers, intimate and eco-conscious meeting venues, perfectly tailored for collaboration. Delegates to Uganda enjoy more than just business. They are treated to moments of pure indulgence with luxurious accommodations, refined dining that fuses global cuisine with local flavor, and world-class wellness retreats. Adventure awaits among Uganda's majestic wildlife. Picture yourself face to face with the magnificent mountain gorillas, or journey through iconic national parks where lions lounge in acacia trees. Recharge with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee or the refreshing breeze rolling across lush tea plantations. Here, culture is not just observed, it is lived and shared. For those driven by innovation, Uganda offers fast-growing industries, paving the way for sustainable development. Unwind on award-winning golf courses. Pamper yourself in serene spas. Make an impact while safeguarding this beautiful destination. Meet, connect, explore in Uganda, your premium MICE destination.
أفريقيا فيها الحلم ديالي والعالم يسمع لينا احنا جينا أفريقيا أولي لا تستعمل تسالي أفريقيا أولي فيها الحلم ديالي ومرحبا بكم هنا هاد الكاس غادي يحلى يا نحلاها جاية بيرديك في ديار رفوع يا المغربية تعلي بالقوبية وفي هذا النهار الكرة غادا دور لا فيكتوار أفريقيا توجور فورت وفي هذا النهار الكرة غادا دور لا فيكتوار أفريقيا توجور فورت أفريقيا ليل فيها الحلم ديالي والعالم يسمع لينا احنا جينا أفريقيا ليل لا فيستا ما تسالي والعالم يشهد بينا يلا بينا أفريقيا ليل قولي لا فيستا ما تسالي أفريقيا ليل قولي فيها الحلم ديالي أفريقيا ليل قولي لا فيستا ما تسالي أفريقيا ليل قولي فيها الحلم ديالي Golden sands and mountain skies, drums that pound and spirit rise. The crowd is fire, hearts go live.